אישה, שהיה כתם של דם באיבר המין, שאני חשבתי בהתחלה שברח לה מהפחד, שראינו אותה, הבנו שזה בוודאות היה דם.
בעיקר היה שם המון פיצי ירי, גם ירי ממוקד באזור איבר מין לגברים, ראינו את זה הרבה. היה להם קטע עם איברי מין, גם לנשים וגם לגברים. אנשים שהגיעו אלינו אזרחיות, אנחנו ראינו בעיקר או כריתות שדיים או ירי, רק בשדיים, פשוט ירי מקצה של שד לקצה השני, הם הגיעו אלינו בהכרה. אצל הגברים איבר מין, ירי באיבר מין היה להם קטע עם זה או לחתוך.
עשו את זה שכופפו מישהי, ובעצם אני מבינה שהוא אנס אותה, והוא בעצם משנע אותה. כאילו, ממש אני זוכרת את התנועה הזאת. ואז מעבירים אותה לעוד מישהו.
היא הייתה בחיים, הבחורה שהם אנסו?
כן. היא הייתה בחיים.
עמדה על הרגליים?
היא עמדה על הרגליים, היא דיממה מהגב. אני לא יודעת מה היא הייתה. שהוא מושך לה בשיער, היה לה שיער ארוך, הוא מושך לה בשיער. הוא כאילו, היא לא לבושה, והוא חותך לה את השד. הוא זורק את זה על הכביש, הם משחקים עם זה, והיא כאילו הולכת כזה ככה עם הראש אחורה.
Videos and footage released by Hamas show, for example, a dead woman, who is seen in one of the videos at the festival with rigor mortis, stripped from the waist down, legs spread apart, body partly burned. Another image shows the body of a young woman stripped from the waist down, her underwear torn, hung on one leg, and she was photographed on the site at the Nova Music Festival. A video released by Hamas shows a young woman who was abducted to Gaza, surrounded by men in the back of a car, her hands tied behind her back, and a large blood stain between her legs, and signs of trauma on her feet and arms. Another video posted by Hamas on social media shows the body of a young woman almost fully naked and unconscious, her legs in an unnatural position, and she is paraded in the back of a pickup truck while the crowd cheers. Another image shows a murdered woman, her hands bound, her body abused and burned.
We got a lot of information, a lot of pieces of information from different sources and that we slowly gathered into a full picture of what happened. So, and we still don't have all the details, right? It's going to be a long investigation, but now we know that there were multiple cases of sexual violence against women and against children. I want to say that it is one of the most documented atrocities in history. Hamas got into Israel with cameras, with filming themselves using the phones of the victims. So looking back on what we wrote, we knew a lot very early. We saw that it was difficult for them to get to respond to what happened. The first thing was to just rescue the people there, to make sure there aren't more terrorists inside Israel. So I think it took a while to understand what's happening, and we know that a lot of the bodies were quickly collected from the scene, especially since it became a war zone and they had to evacuate these places very quickly.
Burnt bodies. I can't even tell if it's a man or a woman, if it's a child or an adult, burnt to ashes. Rape. Women were raped, even the elderly, even very young, were raped. Entire families that were murdered together.
Most of the people, I assume, that have passed this kind of terror are dead because they were shot. There is information from people who saw what happened, but everybody should understand there should not be any anticipation that the survivors will come and speak out loud with their face. It's not like Me Too. This is a horrible and different thing. We're in a war. Many people don't live in their houses. Many people, their houses were burned. In order to tell this kind of story, you have to have stability. You have to gain control of your life. That's why it will take time, and it takes time. I don't know if you read, yesterday there was a story that came out. Now it's at such a national scale we have never passed before. There's a lot of guilt in this what happened, because the guilt of the survivor, the guilt of the bystander, the guilt of a man who saw his girlfriend raped and murdered and could not do anything. And that's why there's another level of secrecy around this thing, and a lot of shame.
I know that we're now building a full understanding of what happened, a fuller understanding of what happened, and understand that it was just one of these cases in history where we saw human rights, women's rights being violated in the worst imaginable way.
אני וחברי הקבינט נפגשנו היום עם משפחות החטופים. אלה שכבר הצלחנו להשיב הביתה, ואלה שאנחנו עושים הכל כדי להשיבם. שמעתי סיפורים קורעי לב. שמעתי על הצמאון, על הרעב, על התעללות נפשית ופיזית, על הילדים הקטנים שעדיין לוחשים מפחד, על החשיכה הגדולה שבה...
Today, along with the cabinet ministers, and I met with the families of the hostages, those who we have returned home and those who we are trying to bring back home. I heard stories that broke my heart. I heard about the thirst and hunger, about physical and mental abuse, about the little witnesses that are still whispering from fear, about the darkness the loved ones still wonder. I heard, and you also heard, about sexual assault and cases of brutal rape unlike anything. But I must say that just until a few days, I didn't hear the human rights organization and women's rights organization. I didn't hear women's organization in the UN. I didn't hear their outrage. Our fighters are expanding the ground operation against Hamas in every place in the Strip, including the south of the Strip. Tonight we operated there with a massive force. The earth shook in Khan Yunis and the earth shook in Jabalia. We've besieged both of them. There is no place beyond our reach. We took control of the General Security Command of the Hamas. Our brave soldiers are fighting powerfully against the killers. They are conducting close-quarter battles. They are eliminating terrorists around the clock. And we are the upper hand in every battle. I want to a word about the day after Hamas. Gaza needs to be demilitarized, but in order for Gaza to be demilitarized, there's just one force that can demilitarize it, and that the power of the IDF, no international force can be responsible for that. We saw in other places what happened when they brought in international forces in order to dematerialize. I'm not willing to close my eyes and accept any other arrangement.
ואני רוצה לומר מילה נוספת על היום שאחרי חמאס. עזה חייבת להיות מפורזת. וכדי שעזה תהיה מפורזת, יש רק כוח אחד שיכול לדאוג לפירוז הזה. והכוח הזה הוא צבא ההגנה לישראל. שום כוח בינלאומי לא יכול להיות אחראי לכך. ראינו מה קרה במקומות אחרים שהביאו כוחות בינלאומיים למטרות פירוז. אני לא מוכן לעצום את העיניים ולקבל שום הסדר אחר.
In a state of law, and Israel is a state of law, the authority to apply violent force is also granted to those who are authorized by the government. In our case, it is the military, the Israeli Police and Security Service, etc. No one else has any authority to apply violent force, neither big or small. And the expression that allegedly attributes it to a group that live in Judea and Samaria is a wrong expression. Extremists exist since I'm the one who signs on the administrative detention orders. I know that many of them are not from Judea and Samaria, but come from other places.